power. If you're at a place and you can get full off the appies, you're doing well. Not that I ever did. Maybe once. Don't judge me. Stop staring. Stop staring. Do not judge me. We are going to get the party started, and we're going to ask our esteemed guests to please take a seat at the head table so we can see you, so we can dive in. She said her words, not mine, her words. So I don't know about you, but as they were speaking, I couldn't help but to think of so many questions that I wanted to ask. And please think of the questions you want to ask, because this is not the faith show, even though I do comedy. It's not about me, this is about them. But I do have one question that I would love to start with, and I would love to ask first Mr. James a question. So James, the first question is for you. I would love to ask you a question. Now, I'm first of all going to say thank you so much for sharing and for being open about being adopted and sharing about your two dads. A question I'm thinking of is, did the poetry start coming out after you found that out or before? Because it was so powerful when you shared that, and I know we write from our experiences, so I'm curious if I may start off the questions by asking you that.
Thank you for that. I practiced poetry and was always, I guess, comfortable writing for a really long time through my childhood and adolescence, and I didn't find out I was adopted until I was 19. So for me, what happened is that writing became a way of creating a way of processing and a way of having a dialogue that I couldn't have otherwise anywhere else. It was really interesting because when that happened, my family doubled and I felt more immensely isolated because I was like, I don't know what these things are that I'm feeling, and there's no one that I really have that I can trust to talk about this stuff to. So I think a lot of that energy just went into writing, and when I discovered poetry, then I began to funnel it into that. So it was the writing came first, and then the being able to process my life was the second.
Ooh, thank you so much. If you have a question, please, yes. Thank you.
James, I was wondering, because I so am in love with the way that you find images and metaphor, and I'm just wondering, is that something that comes to you just naturally, or do you go back and rework to put in the images? What's your process there?
Yeah, everything is reworked. Everything is worked over, rewritten like several times over for me to find it. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a filmmaker. And those fantasies kind of got soaked up in writing. I guess I put all of the energy that I would have into being a filmmaker, into processing my world in a cinematic way. I put all that energy into the words. I put all of that energy of a camera into the thing. Yeah. So it's like I wanted you to see and experience and feel those poems in the way that you would like a film.
Thank you so much. Ms. Devorah, I see in 2022 you received Regina's Coppola's International Literary Award. And that was just a few years ago. I'm curious, when you were, well, first of all, did you get a chance to go to Italy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she said, oh, yeah. She said, oh, yeah. When you were there, did that inspire any poetry when you were there?
Well, is this not on?
This thing on?
There you go. All right. There's an organization, it's in Varanasi, which is near Salerno in southern Italy, called Casa di Poesie, the House of Poetry. And I actually, they brought me over a bunch of years ago for the first time. And the way they are is if they like you and your poetry, they keep bringing you back. So that was like my 6th trip to Italy. I'm going back this year. I found out this morning.
Whoa, congratulations!
So I'm really excited. And it's interesting, I have I haven't written too many Italian poems. They brought me to Sarajevo once. And because of the schedules, they flew me out a day or two early. So I was there by myself. I don't speak Bosnian. I do, but I'm a good, respectful tourist, so I'm going to thank you, please. Hello, good morning. You know, but after that, I'm kind of lost. So I walked, and because there had been a war there, not that least far away, you would see the buildings, and then you would see the gun shop stripe. And notice that the windows are all new, and then out of the windows in the European manner would be people's clothes, so you could tell the family. And so I ended up writing a Sarajevo poem about it, because I was so, I mean, it was very clear to me, because in America, you know, the war, well, that's what neighborhood you live in, but for most of you guys, the war never enters your sphere. So you don't see houses shot up or, you know, that kind of stuff. And windows that were replaced because they were shot out, or, you know. So then I do, but not that Italy isn't inspiring, it's just almost too much. I also wrote one about these brass, I was in the boot, I think Bari, and they took 2 bigger than life-size statues of African, what do you call it, guys in the Roman army?
Gladiators?
Well, they weren't no, the gladiators fight in the arena. These were the ones that went around conquering places. Yeah, more like the centurions. And so there was a younger man and an older man, but they were both clearly African. I mean, if you have eyes, some people don't, but, you know, the flat noses, the big lips, the pink hair were sure giveaway. And so I sat there and I was just taking notes on them, and I ended up writing a poem about them. The guard came over and asked me which one was the more handsome in Italian. And I don't know much Italian, but I understood that, and so I said vecchio, which is old. The old man. He said, "You have good taste."
I knew that would spur an answer. And I also noticed, I'm not going to ask you to sing, but do you also write songs within your poetry? Because I noticed you was kind of singing, kind of doing a little tease.
I have written some songs that I've asked musicians to put music to, but no. I sing a little bit when I'm in Italy, like lines of a poem or a. I can sing around the corner, but not around the block. So, I go as far as I can.
I love it, I love it. Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
I have a very simple question. James, in your Heavy Machinery 1978, at the end you made a comment, like a sidebar comment, something about your father, but the applause drowned it out. Could you share that again? I just didn't hear what you said.
I cannot, because I gave up that book to a member in the audience. But the ending of the poem, where the poem then lands, is that we sort of stop looking at my father doing this work on a cardboard mattress in the driveway, and it sort of, then we suddenly zoom out and realize that he is sort of doing all of this work, but leaving behind a wife and a child standing on the porch watching him. And I think my last line was something like that, watching him ready to run.
Oh, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, something like that.
Thank you.
Great question, great question. Any other questions that you're thinking
Just a
about?
comment, I wanted to say my
Comment.
parents, my grandparents lived in Cosenza, which is not very far from Salerno, so they immigrated from there in the 1920s.
Look at that.
Southern Italy is wonderful. It's not like America.
And they're they got poetry, well, it's a lot of Europe's very, much more celebratory poetry than the.
Oh, yeah. First time I had an audience of over hundreds of people.
Oh, wow.
Was in Italy. They just come out.
Yeah, that's great.
They have, yeah, they just come out. It's always amazing.
And I'm curious, with you as being poets in Oakland, is the poet circle large? Is it small? Do you all hang out on Friday nights? I'm just curious. Inquiring poet minds want to know.
Most poets are shy. Yeah, I don't hang out.
I hate hanging out. I hate being here right now.
There's a lot of poets.
Yeah.
A lot of poets.
A lot, okay.
A lot of poets, a lot of good poets. But no, unless you happen to have what happens to be a friend, you know.
Well, there's AWP every year, which is about 13,000 poets, and so you have mostly 95% introverts. So like this huge thing where all these poets are around, it's a very interesting.
And what's AWP?
Oh, Associated Writers and Writing Program. It's the biggest conference in America for poets and writers.
Nice, and where is it held?
Well, it just depends. They just, like this year it's in LA, sometimes it's back east. They alternate the venue.
Yeah, I was gonna go to the one in Santa Fe, and I actually had 3 different events to go to be a part of.
Yeah.
2 where I was reading my poetry, and then COVID came.
Yeah, I know, and then COVID, the one that was going on, they basically canceled the one when COVID was.
Yeah, that was the one, yeah, so.
Wow. I'm curious, I'm not gonna ask anybody to read, but do we have any poets in the audience besides Cagney? Oh, look at, oh,
on my side.
We're surrounded by poets. I love it, okay. And I do understand that because this is what I do for a living, but I am a very quiet, very private person. So I get it, right? I have ADHD, I'm also neurodiverse, I'm on the spectrum. This is comedy, acting, radio, commercials, all that stuff. That's my professional life, but my personal and private life, my kids can tell you, they're like, oh yeah, my mom doesn't talk. Totally. My kids will be like, yeah, no, she's kind of boring. So I get it. I respect that. I respect the craft. Yes?
A question for both of you, and it's kind of a follow-up on the earlier question. I'm sure there's a range, when some poem comes out and it's done, and other poem you work years on. What is, for average for you when you're working on your poem? Like, how long does it take you to ultimately craft it, on average, knowing that there's a range?
That's a great question.
Question for both of you.
That is a great question, and there is no such thing as average. Because every single poem sort of approaches in a different way, as in every single child in your class will approach you and or do the work you ask them to do in a totally different way. I can say the last piece that I ended up doing was a kind of a commission for a gallery. They got like 4 or 5 different poets to write an ekphrastic poem on these 4 or 5 different paintings. We were each assigned a painting, and what I can tell you is that when I received the painting, I kept it with me and sort of stared at it pretty much for a solid week. And then just gradually started throwing words and phrases onto the page and just sort of like allowing it to just kind of like coalesce. So it's sort of like doing a piece like that, I feel like that took like a solid month, and I want to say a month because I did a draft and just sort of let it marinate away from me for several days before I came back and then rewrote it. So maybe about 3 weeks to a month is a good, maybe rough average to how things get developed or so for me.
No, there's no average.
Well, that was easy.
I'm sorry. Some just come out, and they're really long, and they come out, some are like 8 lines, and they took me weeks to get it right. It's till it's there, Till it's there.
What's the longest it's taken you to get? Which poem was
Months.
Stubbornness.
Months. Yeah, months. And I always say rise, like bread rises. I put it in, but it's got, I put it away, and then I come back, and then I do stuff, and then I put it away, and then I come back. So, sometimes months, I mean, it's not literally months, but
It requires.
yeah. I think that's the thing, is to be patient with one's work and not give up on it, and be willing to come back to it.
Gotta be patient. And I recognize the voice. Lisa,
Yes.
I'm listening going, the voice sounds so familiar. Lisa is, I want to make sure I say this correctly. We have, Lisa is the director.
Artistic director.
She is the artistic director of Sparks,
Spark.
which, we know, say what Sparks stands for?
Oh, well,
Uh-oh.
it's a, I try to hide that part actually.
Oh, sorry.
I like just the word Spark, but it's
Yes.
a Shakespeare and Performing Arts Regional Company.
That's right. So
Formerly,
Lisa, thank you for being
Livermore
here.
Shakes.
Livermore Shakes, we have 2 more questions and then we're gonna open it up for the open mic afternoon. Usually people say open mic night, it's open mic afternoon. Okay. 1 and then 2 and then, yes. Yes.
This is a quick question. Do you sit down and write every day?
Yes.
How long?
I lock myself in a conference room in my job about a half hour to journal every morning. So that's and there's nothing for me to do. I purposefully go to that office early to get myself to at least journal work or to read or whatever. So that is a guaranteed solid hour that I'm either writing or waiting for writing to show up every day. Yes.
I do write most days, but sometimes I write very little because it's like that. It's like, no, I'm not opening that door today, and I'll be just, I believe in you just write. I've written so much bad stuff because I insist on writing something, and I'd rather write something bad than write nothing. So I believe in the discipline of it. I don't know that it has to be absolutely every day, but I think that's a great discipline if you have it.
I consider it calisthenics. I don't do otherwise. I don't go to the gym otherwise, but I write it.
I know, cool, the questions are phenomenal. Graciela, yes.
Yeah, so would you consider like songwriting? I'm a songwriter, and it takes time because I not only have to come up with what I want to say in a story, for example, but it has to rhyme. So would that be similar then to the kind of, or?
Absolutely, because of the structure of it, absolutely, without question. That's almost harder, because I sort of wish that I could do more songwriting, and I wish that I liked rhyming, but to me rhyming is always feels uncomfortable. So yeah, I envy that, but yeah, that is writing, that is poetry to me.
Okay.
I did the words for a new symphony by Guillermo, and I was the poet that was hired. And I came out of that with so much respect for songwriters, more than I ever had. And I like songwriters. But the fact is, S's hiss and P's pop. And so when you're writing, you even have to think of word choice in terms of how the singer will sing it. So you've got the rhythm and the rhyme and the this and the structure, and then you've got these things you're supposed to try to stay away from because they don't carry well. So yeah, songwriting, that's the bomb, that's it.
Thank you.
I love that, thank you so much. And we're gonna have our final question and we're gonna do our open mic, yes.
Yeah, do you listen to music ever while you're writing, and how has music influenced your writing?
Ooh, that's good.
You wrote one of your 2 Coltrane, who I love.
I listen to, I do write, I either want quiet or I want music, and I tend to want music without words because the words are distracting instruments. But yes, I absolutely do, and it really varies. And I think, I don't know, sometimes it might just relax me, sometimes it helps open doors to where I should be going, which may not be where I want to go. So.
Yeah, for me actually, music's almost a distraction while I'm writing, unless I'm in public, and then everything just sort of like goes into this drone in the background, and I just sort of like don't really hear it. But yeah, I actually prefer silence while I'm trying to work something out or fish or find the right word or phrase or whatever.
I have a quick question for both of you. You both have beautiful, not only poetic voices, your expressions and all, but your physical voices are very pleasant to listen to. And I was going, Devorah, you said you don't write music, you don't sing. Well, okay, but anyway, you answered that question. But James, your voice too is very pleasant to listen to. And I was listening to it thinking, he could be like a voice actor, or have you ever done anything like that, radio or?
Well, I should say for the record, both of my books are available as audiobooks. And I should also say too, this is a massively long answer that I don't really want to give, but I was always sort of like because I felt like I wanted to be an actor or I wanted to be in showbiz in some kind of way when I was a kid, I was paying very much attention to, the radio and to actors and performers, and my grandfather also was a preacher. So as I'm coming up, I am surrounded by people who have like these extraordinary voices, and as a young man, I'm sort of envying that. So I think it's partially just the blessing of how my body ended up, and then paying attention to all of these great voices that I grew up with in the 70s and 80s and so on.
Okay, question answered. I'm going to give this back to Faith to handle the open mic. Please be respectful of our 3-minute time limit for the open mic, because we have several readers and we have to be out of here by 5. So give us a poem, give us your best. Here's Faith.
Yes, yes. And I see some names.
I think some of you forgot to sign the open mic thing, so when she's through calling these names, she'll ask if there's anybody else who we can read it then.
Yes, but if it's near 5, I'm not gonna be asking. So let us begin with Anita May.
Yay.
Come on now.
I was going to do something else, but because we've been speaking of adoption, I'm choosing to make a little left turn. It's called Mary Teresa, and it starts with an epigram from Saint Teresa of Lisieux. What matters in life is not great deeds, but great love. A year ago, I was a 7th grader at St. Cyprian's School. First year in public school, I don't know anyone here. I am pregnant, wondering if suicide might be easier. In church, I kneel, head bowed beneath a painted statue of St. Teresa. Brown habit, white cowl, short black veil, wrapped in a wheat-colored mantle, she cradles a wooden cross entwined with roses. Although she knows my trouble, her slight smile comforts me. Second daughter of 10 children, I knew it technically possible, but didn't think I could get pregnant, because I don't know what to do if it's true. It cannot be true. My boyfriend Terry runs off to Tijuana, afraid he'll be arrested if he stays. He is 18 to my 14. Saint Teresa, I pray, help us. I seek her eyes, watch for a nod, a bend of her elegant little finger. Something, please, little flower, hear me. 30 miles away, a devout Catholic wife and mother of 4 children is having that dream again. She hears a baby crying, insistently crying. A child needs her. God is asking her to mother a child not yet her own. She shares the dream with her husband. He respects her heartfelt conviction that God is calling them. He loves her loving heart and accepts the invitation to be a father to this child. The French girl who became the little flower was 15 when she entered the Carmelite convent. 10 years later, she died from tuberculosis, never founding an order, going on a mission, or performing a miracle. My daughter's mother gave each of her 4 girls the middle name, Teresa, in honor of her beloved saint. 25 years later, when I meet my daughter's family, there are 4 brothers and 4 sisters. My daughter, the only adopted one. Her father sits in his well-worn brown leather armchair, smoking. his pipe, as I hand his wife a bouquet of yellow roses. And even though she has deep reservations about the woman contacting her child, I am invited to sit at the family table, and she passes me the bread. Sorry.
Anita, thank you so much for sharing. Let's welcome Russell? Raza? Russell, okay, good. Let's give Russell a hand.
Yeah, the name is Rasul Reza Abdul Khalid Ibn Gonzaga Al-Nimatulahiyah with Kiran. But Russell's cool.
Introduce yourself. No,
Yeah, Russell's totally cool. It's Russell Reza Khalid Gonzaga.
okay. What he said. Respectful.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick that I moved out here from San Francisco to take care of my aunt over in Tracy, but I've been getting updates and everything of what's going on here, and when I saw you guys were I had to come out, so I'm so happy I came out. Yeah. I worked with you briefly when I was with Writers Corps in Youth Speaks. Yeah, and James and I know each other for a long time, so I'm so happy I came. Thanks. But speaking of all that, I didn't know there was an open mic, so, and the memorized stuff is not appropriate. James knows what I'm talking about. And so I'll just do something that was published online. So this was published in The Fabulous, and it was published back when COVID just started. This is written in a Filipino form called Hainaku, and real quick, they're short, 1-word, 2-word, 3-word stanzas for the poets amongst you. They're short stanzas, and I stacked them on top of each other. The real poem is just one stanza, but this is linked Hainaku. So, but yeah, like I said, beginning of COVID, and it starts with a quote from the newspaper SF Gate. Coyotes are being seen on the empty streets of San Francisco. What is today? Does it matter? Waking up, coughing in a panic, mistaking hay fever for this virus, breathing into masks, getting lightheaded, sanitizing hands after touching every doorknob, rubbing hand sanitizer onto cell phone, walking empty streets to grocery store, waiting long lines just to enter, maintaining space while walking store aisles. Even white men clear your path. Even Karens get caught shoplifting. Shopping, empty shelves, hoarding toilet paper. Customers thanking me for my service. Customers angry because of food shortages, but plenty of booze in stock. Recognizing my friends behind their masks, trying to speak 6 feet distance. Flirting doesn't count during lockdown. Repeating well-rehearsed sentiments and platitudes, statistics, current cases, and current deaths. Asians becoming weary of racist attacks. Black friends, welcome to the club. Crisis always makes for conspiracy theories. Working overtime again, exposed every hour, pulling off mask after my shift. Inhale, air outside, waiting for ride. No traffic driving the night streets. Coyote, grinning as we cruise past. Thank you.
I don't know, I'm feeling a Livermore poetry like from Anita and listening to that. So powerful. Okay, the next person has beautiful penmanship that I can't even read. Keria? Is that right? Kira? Is that you?
It's Kevin Gunn.
It's Kevin. Oh, it's Kevin.
It's gotta be him.
Not that good penmanship, I guess.
Great job.
That's okay, that's at least gonna read our names, so.
Come on down. Give it up for Kevin.
Yeah, my students could read my writing either, so. Can't read yours either.
We're married, by the way. That was clear.
Yeah.
Explain the hostility.
So this poem is called Crab Louie, Morro Bay, 2013. I ordered a Crab Louie in Morro Bay when I was on vacation. As I lunched on the lettuce in my Louie, I flashed back to our trip down Interstate 101 to the farming communities of Salinas, Soledad, and Gonzales. I bit into the bitter fuse between the hired farmhands and the growers. I tasted the perspiration of the pickers. I chewed on the exploitation of the Latino laborers. I tried to swallow the long hours, the low pay, the 37 elementary schools Cesar Chavez had to attend as his parents sought work. I burped up the boycott. I had difficulty digesting the field with no bathrooms. No amount of salad dressing could smother the systematic segregation, the protracted prejudice, the union-busting belligerence of the growers. The history on my plate left my palate wanting.
That's no fair. You left us wanting more. Excellent. Let's. We have perfect timing because we're going to get through the next two. Connie Post is next.
Okay. I'm going to read a short one for the beginnings called What to Say. Why speak of sorrow when it slips out of the mouths of the broken birds clutching to the telephone lines? Why speak of regret when the black feral cat runs into the hedges upon your turn into the drive? Why speak of rage when the car skids on the slick ice in the opposite direction of your intentions? Why tell anyone about the secret paralysis that seizes you during sleep? Why speak to the rabid moon when the crickets are muted and starting on the dark? You know, I'm having that thing where I had the damn phone. Oh, there it is. Oh, good. It was with my green flag. Yay. This is from my book, Between Twilight, that came out in 2023. When I was in 8th grade, I kept a list of everyone I hated at school in my diary. Occasionally, if someone was nice to me, I'd cross off their name. In winter, I discovered that my mother went through my diary and she told me I'd never seen a child with so much hate, and she shook her head and walked away. At home, I often beat up my older sisters, I hid in my bunk bed, and I cut the eyes out of my dolls. She has such a bad temper, they would say in other rooms. I didn't understand it either. My father loved me so much he couldn't leave me alone. So much that I was sequestered into the slanted rooms where all the doors disappeared. Sometimes when I kicked holes in the walls, my father would patch them up for me. I merely had to hand him the spackle and he would smooth it all away. I could no longer find those old diaries. I have no lists, just a box in the garage with some loose blank pages and a doll I never named. Thank you.
And we have our final one, Babs. Come on down. Am I saying it right? Hold on. Yeah, Babs. I said it right. Come on down.
I have 3 short poems, very short. And this is my book. I wrote this in 2014. First poem, and you have to bear with me because I left my glasses at home. When you think I'm wrong, be my friend. When life has taken its toll on me, and I feel alone, be my friend. When there are decisions that I cannot make, be my friend. When you see that I have lost faith, have understanding, be my friend. When there are tears that continue to flow, be my friend. When my enemies are encamped around me, be my friend. When I utter my innermost secret, keep them, be my friend.
Yes.
And I just wrote this one about 3 months ago. Against all odds. At 16 I ran, left it all behind. Determined to finish, to rise and to find a future, a dream, a life of my own. With nothing but will, I carved out my home. At 18, the tracks tried to take me away, run down by a train, but I rose the next day. Bruised, not broken, my spirit stayed strong. I knew that my journey would carry me long. Married at 19, 2 children in tow. Love fueled my strength as my family did grow. Through sleepless nights and endless days, I fought my future in 100 ways. Degrees in hand, with honor and grace. 2 AAs, a BA, I found my place. Through hard work and struggle, I claimed what was mine. A story of triumph, where hope, light would shine. I wrote my own books, word, bold, and true. Follow your vision and never give up too. For every setback, for each heavy blow, I proved to the world how far I could go. No mountain too steep, no river too wide. With vision and grit, I soared and I strived. From runaway dream to honors well earned. I'm the proof of a life that has turned. Through pain and persistence, I made it through. A journey of strength, a dream pursued. This poem my mom found when she was 15. And she gave it to me when I turned 18. So I'm have to pray that I can see it. The present circumstances the present condition and dark circumstances made it appear that I have not a chance. The odds may be against me. This fact I know. I haven't much to boast of, just a little faith and grit. In spite of things that stand in my way, I'm determined to be somebody someday. There's no raw blood cruising through my veins, no great family background for me to remain. My living conditions have been kind of bad, but it makes no difference what folks think or say. I'm determined to be somebody someday. Some may think I made a poor start. Well, maybe I have, but I'll handle that part. At the end of each round, I'll be on my feet, but there is something in me that's hard to beat. The fight may be tough, but I'm in it to stay. I'm just determined to be somebody someday. There's really somewhere I would like to go. There's truly the things that I would like to know. There's certainly things that I'd like to see, and something special I'd like to be. Let others do what they will or may, but as for me, I just got to be somebody someday. At the number of the ones try to downraise to the courts of heaven, I appeal my case. I know that Jehovah is the judge on the bench. Though man may thrive and lynch, my blood will cry from the ground and say, though you slay me, I'll be somebody someday. My head may be bloody, and my skin may be black, but nothing shall throw me off the track. I'll climb the ladder round by round until my feet strike higher ground. And when I do, just remember what I say. I'm determined to be somebody someday. I want to end that. This is the Black History Month.
Yes. We'll be somebody someday. I am determined. Well, Peggy is going to come and give the final words. I thank you so much for allowing me to be your moderator. My name is Faith Alfer. And you can find me at funnygirlfaith.com. That's funnygirlfaith.com. Thank you.
I'm not going to read my own work. I'm going to say goodbye with a poem that you've all heard. Because it's Black History Month, I thought it was appropriate to read this very short poem by Langston Hughes, who's one of our most famous poets ever. And it's appropriate because right now we all need hope. We all need not to be so stressed as I am, and I know many of you are too, over the current situation of things. But this poem is called Dreams. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow. So dream on, keep writing, keep reading, and come to our Whistle Stop open mic every third Thursday if you want to read your poetry there. We'd love to hear it. Thank you all again for coming. And thanks to Paul and the Renee back here, signing everybody up. Thank you.
I've seen your like picture on awesome. Everybody is saying, oh, this is great.
Best chance.